Bit of a mess on our hands when it comes to the markets, down 400 plus on the Dow as we get closer to that final hour of another volatile trading session. So, big picture, what are financial planners telling their clients as we head into a new year or get set to? From Oxbow Advisors, Ted Oakley is with us. I'm sure, Ted, you get some people freaking out, right? What advice have you been giving them?
Well, one of the things that happens in here is that we've been, on Fox Business a number of times when July and September, and we said that prices were high. We had higher cash. We thought bond yields would come down. And this typically, honestly, is a first level. I do think you'll find the low in here and probably have some sort of intermediate move into the new year. But I think investors need to realize we're late in the cycle now, and you're going to have situations where they need to really rethink it when it comes to the first 2 months of the year.
Okay, so when they do that, it's not as simple as saying, oh, let's put the money under the mattress, right? Or let's get out of stocks entirely. Is it?
Right.
What's the strategy or the most? I know it depends on how old you are and all the rest of it, but what's your, in terms of risk, what's your strategy?
So true. Well, what happens is for us, you don't come out of risk assets all the way. You just have to reduce. I know for us, we're 25% liquid in stock accounts. My guess is we'll go to 30 or 35. I think individuals ought to consider the same thing. But also consider this. We think there's a high probability that you'll have a recession next year. And if you do that, you need to own the Treasury. And I'm not talking about the 1 year. I'm talking about the 15, 20, 30-year Treasury.
So Kevin Hassett was on Fox News earlier saying there's a 0% chance of a 2019 recession. I assume you think it's a number significantly higher than that.
Well, we think we'll be in recession sometime,
next year.
By the second or third quarter. But, Connell, as you know, that makes a horse race.
Right. I mean, and it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, and it may be a somewhat mild recession. You have to be ready for what's on the other side.
You're correct. It could very well be that, and it may just be a really steep slowdown. But I think for most people that haven't experienced anything the last 10 years, that a steep slowdown would feel like a recession.
You know what? That's a very good point. We've talked to a lot of people, even decision makers in the markets, who haven't really been in that environment if they're in their 30s or even their 40s, and they haven't seen as many of those environments. Ted, we have to run to get to Liz Clayman here in a minute, so thank you very, very much for coming on.